Hey, everybody. Welcome back. This is week 3 of the bakery. I can't believe we're already 2 weeks down in the NFL season. My name is Jason O, and I'm joined always by Tribe, the best co host in the game. Tribe, how was your week 2?
Yeah, I had a lot of Chase Brown. That's how my week 2 went.
Yeah, he definitely owes people some money to say
Yeah,
the least. Oh, I think I had maybe like in my 150, I think I had like 15 to 20% of them. And I kind of when Locke hit, I was like, he was the one guy I'm looking at. I'm like, oh, I wish I had more than him, more than that. And yeah, he was rough, man. He was rough. Did you have any decent finishes at all?
nah. I had 10 lineups and I had Chase Brown in 7 of them.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And I had
that's rough.
and I had one lineup with neighbors, but other than that, I had no Giants. So, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I had one lineup that was really good. I just played it on the wrong week. Apparently, it's just too high scoring of a slate, so like it didn't even matter. I had one
Yes.
lineup that put up close to like 200 points, and it just did absolutely nothing. It
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. I should caveat that it was like a super high scoring week in terms of like the top lineups. And so I had some lineups that like were fine. Like, on a standard regular slate, like they probably cash and like, maybe I lose like 25% of
yeah,
fees or whatever. But yeah, nah, on the slate like last week, it was just there was a lot of I'm not gonna lie though, there was a lot of players that ended up chalky that I did not anticipate being as highly owned as they ended up being.
like who?
I was just looking at the contest analyzer. I was looking at the Millie. So just keep an eye out. Once we get like a quarter of the way in the season, I am going to put out an article just looking at like the Millie that first quarter of the season. But like Odunze was like close to 20% in the Millie, which was
Oh
like
yeah, that was wild.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
that's what I'm
wild.
saying. Like and of course he like has like the game of his life, right? Yeah, there was just some spots like that where guys were like 15 to 20%, where I thought they were going to be maybe like I would have been shocked if they would have been like 15% owned. And then those were guys that like ended up going crazy, and I was like, "Oh, well, shit."
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the fact
they're
that
rare. Achan,
A-Chan,
yeah,
whatever, right? He was like sub 10% in the millie, and I was convinced he was going to be chalk or chalk-ish.
yeah. I kind of thought he was too. I mean, he was projecting everywhere for like 18 to 22%.
Right.
I think we even had
So,
him in like the high teens. I mean, the one thing
yeah.
that like really surprised me the most is and I actually wrote it in the newsletter on Monday, is just how bad this Cowboys defense like really is. All
Yeah.
off season you were hearing about how terrible they're gonna be. And you kind of saw Philly not really pick them apart. They made Hurts run, and then you see, Russell Wilson come out and he can't throw it in Washington, but he can throw it all over the yard against Dallas. So, and
Nah,
now
so this
crazy.
is the thing though, and I should have had more conviction in this to be honest. That's on me. But like I kind of said this, like after watching that Washington game, like they were letting him like he was airing it out. He just couldn't connect on anything. But like he's trying to take a ton of deep shots. This is what he's
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, 100%. I just can't believe Dallas didn't prepare for that. Like, it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like if you think Tyrone Tracy and like Cam Scatterbo are gonna run all over you, like I
I
don't know,
mean,
man.
is it a thing like you? I mean, even if they did, like, is their defense at a point where we think they could have stopped it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I was just a little surprised that
Yeah.
like the Giants really only had one way to really beat them, and they let
And that
them.
was what exactly what they let them
And
do.
like
Yeah.
Wandale Robinson has had an A dot of like 7 for like 3 years in a row, and now he's like this super deep threat. It's wild, man. But let's get into week 3. I think this is going to be a very similar week. Probably not as bad as a high scoring as last week, but we'll see. Let's break it down. Starting at quarterback, where do you think you're going to put your focus this week?
I think I'm going to continue to target like the lower, not like bottom tier, although there are absolutely like some super cheap quarterbacks that you can play this week if you so choose. But that range where we got Dak, Bo Nix, Stafford, Caleb Williams, Penix. Is it whatever? Penix. We'll go Penix. We won't go Penis. They've been looking good on offense. He's Penix now. Daniel Jones, who people don't believe in, but we were talking about this in the Discord earlier this week. Like he put up 25 fantasy points last week and only rushed for 2 yards.
Yeah, one of them just happened to be a touchdown, one of those yards.
But I'm okay. Like this is like that's like the Jalen Hurts thing.
Yeah.
Like if the only rushes he's gonna get is on the goal line, I'm good with that.
And he's throwing more than a guy like Hurts too right now.
He is. Like he's throwing. He's averaging over 25 pass attempts a game. Like I think like 270 and change. Week one.
He's been really stellar, man. And this system really matters. Like 29 pass attempts and 34 pass attempts. And he's playing really good. And now he gets Tennessee, who I personally think is a better defense than people are going to give them credit for. They gave the Rams some problems early. They gave the Broncos some problems. But overall, I just think Daniel Jones is like the best offensive line in football. I just don't see a world where he really – it's hard to imagine he's at 5,400. It's hard to believe he doesn't like 3x his salary minimum.
Right, exactly.
Very
going down a little bit lower. Geno, I'm always going to play the Geno stacks. I don't hate going back to Mac Jones. But yeah, I'm probably going to live in this range between 5 and 6K.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do the same thing as you. Like even Mac Jones at 5K is still just way too cheap for like what he really does. I have a lot of interest in Drake May too. We saw Fields really just like kick the shit out of them. Darnold too. Like I'm not saying Darnold had like this amazing fantasy game, but threw for almost 302 scores. And now you're going to give me Drake May, who just like has, pause on this. The dude's just got fucking balls. He plays with like reckless abandon, and I love it. He reminds me of like a much more like run first version of Baker Mayfield. Like when he goes, he just goes, and I like that a lot. I do have a lot of interest in Bo Nix this week. I'm not a believer in this Chargers secondary being that good. At 5,800 too, he's really cheap. The problem is like, who do you stack him with? But at 5,800 for a guy who uses his legs, I'm interested.
Jake Browning. When we get to receiver, I'll tell you who you stack him with.
So yeah, I mean, you're gonna say, don't say Troy Franklin.
Shower narrative, bro.
Oh gosh.
They drafted him for him. He's on the team because that's Bo Nix's boy.
Yeah, I know. I just feels like a flash in the pan, but you never know. I mean,
now look at his targets. Look at his targets have been consistent the past 2 games. We'll get there. My bad. Go ahead. Keep going.
No. It's all right. I think he only had like 1 or 2 week 1, but we will get to that. I also I'm interested in this range just like you. I think Jake Browning, very cheap. You got to consider him there. Are you going to play any CJ Stroud?
No.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it either. But if I feel like there's a defense who's going to give him that opportunity, it's this one. But I can't do it. I will tell you, I've actually did some of my own research, just not only just winning lineups, but really like what people really need to do to score at each position to win. And I think because at tight end, it's so hard for an expensive tight end to break the slate. I think I am done with Kyler stacks until they get cheaper.
Yeah. I probably agree with you. I'm not done with Trey McBride. I do still think you can play him in a mini stack, But to your point, yeah, I don't think you need to full on just again, like looking at the contest analyzer, right? Looking what's going on in these 1%. Granted, yes, I understand it's a 2 game sample, but you also need to realize for those watching this, NFL is a small sample. It's 16 games. Like think about how many games we get for something like MLB. Like you're just not going to get that with NFL, right? So we have to go with the information we have. And part of the edge, in my opinion, right, is banking on the trends we're seeing are in fact trends, right? Like if I'm seeing something and other people don't want to believe that's true, I'm willing to like Daniel Jones. People don't want to believe that he's good. They don't want to believe that this Indianapolis Colts offense is a thing. So if they're going to continue to believe that, we're going to continue to get them at lower ownership. I'm all for it, especially if the data we have, albeit in a short sample, is supporting that. You got to roll with it.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. And speaking of data that we should be rolling with, there's one guy that I'm going to highlight here, and then we'll go on to running back. If I go above 6K, I'm definitely. I mean, obviously, you could play Baker, you could play anybody up here. I'm going to play a lot of Justin Herbert this week.
Mm-hmm.
I just know there's going to be points in this game. They're having a very tough time to running the ball, and Denver's run defense is not really great. But I will say, they went up against the Titans, who were just going to force feed a running back in their rookie quarterback's first game, and they faced the best offensive line in football, and the Colts. And I think you're going to see the Colts like run all over the Titans this week. And
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think this is the spot where Omarion Hampton's going to figure it out against Denver.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to buy that, but also the way that you really beat Denver is, you just don't. Whoever's like Pat Surtain's shadowing, you just don't throw to him. You throw to anybody else but him. So like guys like Quentin Johnston, who are still pretty cheap, Keenan Allen, I think these guys are all going to pair pretty well. So I like that game a lot. It's also in a dome too, so I believe the Chargers are home. So I like that a lot also. So I just wanted to call that out.
No, I like that.
Cool.
Especially his receiving options. If you don't play Lad McConkey and you play Keenan Allen and Quentin John, like they're super cheap.
It's just so cost effective. It really is. And you're gonna, we've seen the upside 2 games in a row now, and now they're probably playing. Granted, I get that they played the Chiefs, but they're probably playing the best offense now, who's gonna like put pressure on them too. So I'm all about it. I'm definitely all about it. All right, now for running back. So my initial first thoughts here when I looked at running back, and especially when we go and sort here by salary, is like Christian McCaffrey is still like $1,500 too cheap. Like they got to make this guy over 9K. Like it's not like, I get like he's more expensive than last week, so now it's like you can think about it a little bit, but he's still extremely cheap. Arizona has just showed 2 weeks in a row. Kamara's gotten them on the ground. Hubbard's gotten them on the ground. An NFL coach felt compelled to give Bryce Young the option to throw 50 fucking times against the defense. I just don't respect them. But then you get Bijan against Carolina in that matchup that James Conner just killed them in. ETN just killed them in, but he's also kind of splitting a little bit with Algier. So I think at the top, like Christian McCaffrey feels still too cheap at 8,200. Maybe for the context of the slate, not really. And Bucky Irving, I feel like at 7,100 that's pretty crazy against this Jets team. But what are your thoughts on running back starting at the top?
Yeah, McCaffrey, like you can continue to play him. He's still too cheap. I like Bijan. I just think his ceiling is really high with the amount of explosive plays he can get. Jonathan Taylor's interesting. He is, in my opinion, still touchdown dependent, like to really have that ceiling game. But they got Daniel Jones getting these goal line carries now. So,
dude, I wrote that in the newsletter. It scares the living hell out of me. Because you're totally right, man. And we know how this goes. When running backs start getting more expensive, they approach that 7K range and they go above that 7K range. If they don't score touchdowns, they're like very, very invaluable.
They're dead weight. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's 7,200.
And I have a tough time paying. Like, I'm gonna say that our ownerships are going to get adjusted by the time we get to lock. But right now, like, he's not low owned either. So I have a tough time playing him at double digit ownership when he's the same price essentially as Bucky Irving.
Yeah, I have that same.
Like, and you're not, and what we're seeing right now is we're not really getting an ownership discount. Like, if we were getting like a steep ownership discount, sure. But like, if they're going to be relatively close in ownership, like, I'm just playing Bucky Irving. For me, that's probably it at the top. Like, in terms of guys 7K or above, like, it's, to be clear, CMC, Bijan, Bucky Irving are the three I'm looking at above 7K.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I mean, I all these guys are live too. Like when we're saying like we're not going to play any of these guys, like if you're running a multi MME set, like get exposure to all of them. Right. But like, yeah, like even a guy like Josh Jacobs, like this is just a spot, man. Where like they're 7-8 point favorites on the road in Cleveland. They're down a receiving weapon, which actually when teams are down their first, second pass catching options, it actually hurts their running backs more sometimes because there's more, attention on them.
Yeah.
But like he's getting so much work, Josh Jacobs, but he's another guy. Like he's just not that. He hasn't been that efficient. Like he's averaging.
Did he pop up with a late Q tag?
Yeah, he actually. He not late, but he got one right after the game, like the first day back in practice.
Oh, okay.
But he did practice today, limited.
Okay, he should be good.
Yeah, I think he's probably pretty good. But like even at 7K, it's like for Josh Jacobs, a guy averaging 3.5 yards a carry, like he's got to score twice.
That's another guy where like if he doesn't get in the box, he's just dead weight.
Yeah, especially because his pass catching volume is down significantly too to start. Chase Brown, I'll go right back to him in this spot. I kind of don't mind doing that. You just saw what Bijan Robinson just did to this defense. You got to think even with Browning, like they're going to hopefully run a little bit more, but
yeah,
you never know. But I don't mind.
I think Chase you're going to get him low owned too because he just burned so many people last week.
100%.
And you got, people are going to be flocked to Bucky Irving right there for $200 more. So that's the Chase Brown is the guy. Like if you're looking for that low owned pivot off of Bucky Irving chalk, or what we assume will be chalk, it's probably Chase Brown there.
Can't disagree at all. I'm not touching Janty at 6,700. Not doing it. Especially not in this spot too, where they're on the road in Washington.
They are.
Oh, I'm out. I'm so out on that. You have Connor. He's splitting a lot more work than people really care to admit.
Yes.
He had less touches in week 2 than he did in week 1.
He scored the touchdown. That's what got him there.
And he only got 12 fantasy points. So it's like
right. So exactly. So no, thank you.
Dude, it's crazy, man. DraftKings is
like
funny.
I'll let people chase that, like, oh, he scored a touchdown last game, blah blah blah. He's James, like, no, especially not against the 49ers either. I'm good.
Dude, it's so funny. He went up $100, and with that performance, and Bucky Irving went down $100.
Well, like they always do that though, because the pricing comes out before
Monday Night Football.
Yeah. So that's something we'll see all season.
Yeah, it's just it's a little bit of a misprice. Kyron against Philly. I don't think I need to pick on Philadelphia with a running back. Kamara against Seattle. Sure.
He's fine. Likewise on the other side of that. Not on the other side of that.
Ken Walker,
right next to him in price. Chuba Hubbard. I don't mind.
Oh, I don't mind Chuba Hubbard. I definitely don't mind Javonte Williams.
Yeah, we got to talk about Javonte Williams.
Dude, what a change of scenery can do for you. Actually, hold on. Before we get to Javonte Williams, did you know that Alvin Kamara, that they gave him 27 touches against San Francisco?
Did they? Did they finally? Yeah, because they got him the targets back. Thank God
And they gave him 10 more carries on the ground. He went from
they did.
13 total
Yeah,
touches to
21,
27.
21 rush attempts. Yeah.
Okay, so that's something to consider with the volume. But yeah, let's talk about Javonte Williams, man. I mean, I had this guy in Denver for the last few years. He looked really, really good as a rookie, had a really bad torn ACL, took a couple years to get back. Towards the end of last year, he started being able to find some like short distance success and find some goal line success. But like they were ready to move on from him. They didn't want to pay him the money. And Dallas with his new regime now, Mike McCarthy's out, and that for the longest time it was like you're just avoiding
Oh,
running
is that what
backs.
happened? No
Yeah,
wonder this offense has actually been doing something.
Schottenheim. Well, they've always, to be fair, they were always decent through the air. They just could never run the ball to like save
No,
their
right.
life.
I mean, in terms of on the ground, I was like, oh,
Oh
that
yeah,
makes sense. Yeah.
and Javonte Williams has been taking advantage. He has 2 touchdowns against Philly. I mean, granted, he only had 54 yards and just had 2 goal line touches, um, but yeah, he lit up the Giants. He's 3 yards away from the bonus. He had 7 targets out of the backfield.
Yep.
That's very encouraging for 6,100.
100%, bro.
Very
Against
encouraging.
Chicago? Are you, bruh?
I'll play you against Chicago, Tribe. I'll play you against them.
Damn straight. But like both, I mean, essentially, David Montgomery might not have crushed, but like I feel like both running backs from Detroit like did their thing against.
They both scored touchdowns. They both had at least 15 fantasy points.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. All right, Javonte Williams, sign me. Grant, is he? And he's not going to be chalk? Are you crazy?
Yeah, I think that number is going to come up like
That
towards
number
the end
has
of the
to come.
week.
And I mean, I can see everybody just rushing to play the passing side of that game. But if that's the case, if the passing game is going to be chalk for that, there's your exposure. You just play Javonte Williams and let it rip.
Yeah,
You know what we probably do too. I talked about this last week, right? Finding those games that you think like are going to go off or have the potential to go off, and just grabbing a running back receiver pairing. You just plug in Javonte Williams with Odunze, right? Mini
yep,
stack,
I like that.
boom, and then you just do your thing. Build your
And
stacks out and just do your thing. Yeah, I like
people
it.
are going to get to that game too. I just hope he stays a very lower owned piece of it.
Yeah,
Because
we'll see like come Saturday like where his ownership is at. Yeah.
yeah, I like him a lot though. I'm with you on that. I got some mild interest as we go down here. I'm not playing Brees Hall. ETN, I think, is very interesting just
Same.
at the price
I have
point.
him noted down. Yeah.
He's just too cheap. Ken Walker. Oh, man, I got to tell you, those Charbonnet backers are in shambles after last week. Oh, Ken Walker lost his job week 1. Idiots.
Isn't
Idiots.
Charbonnet hurt too?
No, I don't think he's hurt. I think he played. I think he was fine. Is he hurt?
No. I mean, for like this week, I swear I thought him pop up on the injury
Oh, yeah,
report.
he didn't practice Thursday.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
And also, to be fair, they still gave Charbonnet 15 touches, but he had 10 yards on 15 touches.
Yeah.
I could have better efficiency than that, and I'm probably 3 times the size of
Where's
Charbonnet.
Seattle versus New Orleans? Okay, yeah. You can talk me into some Kenneth Walker. I'm good with that. I'm down with that. Sure.
And they were also last week they didn't, but the week prior they also did use him in the passing game, and he did run. He ran more routes than he got targets. So,
which is crazy.
It's insane to think about. It really is.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard. This is a guy that like I gotta say, man. One of these days Tony Pollard's gonna like absolutely break a slate. He keeps getting cheaper, and his workload is outstanding. He's a 20-plus touch a game guy. He went for 92 yards against the Rams. If he hits the 100-yard bonus, he's at 12. If he scores, he's at 18. They're never going to be like big favorites, so I'm not saying like you go run to him right now. But if he starts creeping to like the low 5s, like I think we have to start really considering playing this guy. His volume's just crazy.
Here's another one I brought up in the Discord of like a lot of this has just been like it's just been that touchdown variance, right? And I know at some point James is going to introduce like the expected versus, actual fantasy points, so you can get a better sense of like who is due for some regression, whether positively or negatively. But Pollard has definitely got like the workload and the volume is there. You just got to find a spot where, the game's not going to get out of hand. And like, this is a divisional game. Like, these AFC South divisional games are generally pretty close and competitive. So this is a spot
Yeah.
I don't mind playing him.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. And you saw Denver have some rushing success against Indianapolis. Achane out of the backfield did on, through the air. I agree. I think you could do worse than him down here.
Speaking of Denver, what do you think of your boy, J.K. Dobbins?
Oh, dude, I think he's actually a legitimately good running back, but I think you're going to see this switch to Harvey sooner rather than later. I don't know if it's going to be this week. Like, I think it's going to be more of how I imagine it. It's probably going to be like a two-headed monster approach for the next couple weeks. Harvey had the same amount of touches as week 1 as week 2 as he did in week 1, but he was on the field for some more snaps too. They had some more red zone touches with him in there. Like, I'm going to tread carefully, and I just don't think that he gets enough work for me to want to click him here. I will tell you though, Jaylen Warren, that guy, man, I gotta put, hand up. I was wrong. I thought he was gonna be absolutely destroyed in Pittsburgh. When they drafted that kid out of Iowa in the 3rd round, really,
and then
good
had him
college.
returning kick. What they doing?
I don't know, man. You bring in Kenneth Gainwell, who's never been a in between the tackles guy, more of a receiving back. But like, if you're telling me that Jaylen Warren against this New England team that, just got, eviscerated on the ground, you're going to give Jaylen Warren 15 to 18 touches at 5,500. I'm interested.
Yep.
I'm definitely interested.
Aaron Rodgers also came out and endorsed him. He said, we got to get this guy the ball more.
Yeah, he did. And that's the thing about Aaron Rodgers. When he
says it, he effing means it. Let's be clear.
Oh yeah, he says it with his chest. He's not he doesn't try to BS you with that. He actually doesn't understand why more people don't believe him when he says these things. But I digress. And last but not least, the guy I'll mention here is Jordan Mason, clearly going into a big workload right now without Aaron Jones.
We got him as like massive. He's going to be massive chalk.
Yeah, at 5,400. I'm glad that they raised his price. Ramondre is there too, who is just popped for a big game. But yeah, Jordan Mason with no Aaron Jones. Yeah, you have to be somewhat interested, but he doesn't feel like a must play to me by any means.
People are going to force, like optimizers are going to force him. So you're going to see him just come in like absurdly owned. Like 5,400 point per dollar value is going to be popping off the charts. They're home favorites against the defense that people know is bad. Like,
yeah, ETN just sort of killed them. I think, and so did Tootin. I think both running backs
scored they did
touchdowns. Yeah, like Travis Etienne's averaging 5 yards a carry against them. Yeah, it's tough to not it's tough to not consider him.
To your point though, like I don't know that he's like a must play.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think he is either, but I think in the right lineups he does make sense.
And contest matters. Like in small field contests, like you should probably just play him and move on.
Yeah, I would agree. Any other running back thoughts before we go to wide receiver?
Nah. There's no need to go dumpster diving this week.
I agree. Going over to wide receiver now. I'm probably going to have a very unpopular opinion on this. I want to get your thoughts. I actually don't think I want to play a wide receiver above 6,500 without their quarterback. Like Mike Evans is a guy that I'll look at and like, okay, you're getting deep targets, but I feel like a lot of these guys are. I feel like it almost doesn't make sense to play them like without their quarterback. Puka, like I'll probably eat the crow on that and eat my words, but they're all just spots that like I don't love. But I'm gonna let you go first. What are your thoughts at wide receiver?
I don't necessarily disagree. I think how I'm approaching it, which is similar to what you're saying, like you don't want them uncorrelated. And to that extent, I agree. I don't want these expensive receivers uncorrelated. Like if I play these guys, I want them with either their quarterback and I'm playing the stack, or I want them with somebody from the other side. So, I want a CeeDee Lamb, Odunze. I want uh Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, right? I want a I don't know that I want Nico Collins, but if for the sake of argument, right? Like Nico Collins and insert whatever pass catcher from. It's not going to be BTJ. I can't with Trevor Lawrence. Is just you play him with I don't know Brenton Strange, right?
I will tell you, he had 12 targets and he dropped like 3 or 4 balls.
But like it's how many of those were? Some of them weren't catchable. Like some of them were him just throwing him the ball for the sake of throwing him the ball.
I would say, yeah, I would say a majority of them were catchable, but I agree. They're just not in sync whatsoever.
Yeah,
And that's I wrote about that in the newsletter too. I'm just like I think I might need to let them show me first one time, and until they get like absurdly cheaper, like 6,400 for Brian Thomas Jr. Like I get he projects well, but until he like actually shows me once, I think I'm okay with not being first there, especially because he's chalk every fucking week. Like that's the other thing. If you're telling me he's going to be 3 to 5% on, I'm in. But I think that's going to be closer to like 10, 12 come lock.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I'm approaching those expensive guys, though. If they're either a part of the stack or I'm playing them with somebody on the other side for a mini stack. I don't really want them as one-offs.
That makes sense. What are your thoughts on JSN at this price tag now?
I'm still okay with it. Like until and below 7K, I'm probably like he's in consideration for me every week as long as he remains under 7K. 7K, then I start to question it.
I would agree. He's over 100 yards both games. He's like he's a touchdown away from like really breaking a slate.
And this is also the range that I really like targeting like as a flex play. Because generally how I build, I end up with around this much left. And this is where we saw last year, right, with the 2 tight end thing, where like we would consistently be playing like Jonnu Smith or Brock Bowers. I think it was pretty much those two for us that were making us all the money.
Jonnu Smith made us a lot of money week 11 onward last year.
So playing those guys in the flexes with the 2 tight end build, there really has, I think, like Bowers is on the slate this week, and Trey McBride is there for sure. But like, aside from those two, like I'm not as sold necessarily on those two. I think both of them are fine when we get to tight end. But like, it's much. Last year, it really wasn't a conversation, just how pricing was when you looked at them compared to the receivers who would be in this range. But right now, just based on how the pricing is, there's some high upside receivers you can get in this spot. Like, Jackson Smith and Jigba for 6,500. I don't know that I like it against the Phillies, or against the Eagles, but it might not matter. Baseball season isn't done yet. Yeah. But Devontae Adams is right there. Like he showed he still has the ceiling. At some point, AJ Brown they're going to give him the ball to like get him to not crash out. Even Mike Evans right there, against the Jet, he's probably going to get. Do you think he gets Sauce? Has they been shadowing with Sauce Gardner?
From what I read, no. But honestly, that defense is so bad, I kind of don't.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters either. And I was just going to say, AJ Brown is like so ridiculously cheap. But when I was looking him up and looking at his routes, so last year I came on the show a lot and I said, this guy is like the best man coverage receiver in the last 5 years. Like all of his metrics are phenomenal. His separation's insane. And they have a new OC now. And did you know that he has only ran He's only been targeted on routes more of 7 yards twice in 2 games, like AJ Brown. He's I think I saw something like 85% of his routes are at their 10-yard routes or under. Like they are just not using him in that way. They came out and said they're going to script some more stuff for him, but honestly, I don't know. I don't know, and I got to give it to Hurts, man. Like Hurts is playing like good real life football, where he's making the really good decisions. He's just not turning it over.
Yeah.
He's getting pressured, and then he's just like escaping with his legs. But yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I'm gonna keep clicking this guy though. Like we've seen him break slates all the time, and even if he burns me, like I think I got to play him again.
Yeah.
Crazy. Garrett Wilson. I'm only really on him if Fields plays. If we get the Tyrod Taylor experience,
No. I'm out on that.
Me too, and especially because I feel like Tyrod every time he plays, he takes a sack in the second
Why the
quarter.
hell is
and gets
Drake
hurt.
London only 6K?
I think it's because he's been playing like dog shit. I mean, this isn't really why, but he had 12 targets week 1, I think, or something crazy like that.
15.
Oh, 15. He only caught 5 balls for like 55 yards. Last week he has one or two catches, and on one of the catches where he actually makes some gain, he fumbles. Bless you, by the way.
Thank you.
He fumbles. So I don't know. 6K is just way too cheap for his volume. But if he's going to be that owned, like I'll play T Higgins for $100 more at.
Oh yeah. Especially like again, ownership influx. We'll see where this lands like Saturday. But currently we have T Higgins sub 5%. If listen,
Yeah.
if 20% or more of the field is going to play Jordan Mason as like the free square, if you want a way to eat that chalk and be able to still get different, like pair him with a sub 5% T Higgins.
I couldn't agree more. And also, you're going to tell me Tet McMillan is going to be that
There's no
low.
way.
Yeah, like I don't buy that either.
I don't buy that.
I don't buy that.
Listen, I pray that he is that low owned. That's another one I like too. Like you just Tet McMillan and Bijan, call it a day.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that, man. I think that combo, that's kind of where I think I want to spend a lot of my money this week. I think I may want to spend a little bit more running back than I usually do, but I think I'd rather almost stay like mid-range, a little bit higher at wide receiver. And also, Cortland Sutton right here, 6,000, little expensive, but I'll tell you, they love him in the red zone. They were looking for him. They just couldn't connect last week.
Yeah, they just couldn't connect on that. Yeah.
And
I wasn't too worried. I know his score. If you look at his like box score, like fantasy wise, like it was awful. But like watching that game, like they were actively trying to get him the ball.
100%.
George Pickens,
9 targets or something, 8 targets. He had 9 targets last week.
5 catches on 9 targets
for a touchdown and 68 yards, and in a game with some offense. You like that a lot. Terry McLaurin, sure, if you want to go there. Jacoby Myers, still too cheap for the workload, but
yep.
A little bit of a tougher spot. DJ Moore, I think they're going to figure it out with this guy eventually. I'm not too
worried about it.
Either am I. I'm not overly concerned. Quentin Johnston at 5,400, I think you kind of have to consider him now. He really reminds me of Jameson Williams, just like with how he's used. He doesn't need a lot of targets to really hit his value because all of his targets are so deep.
He's getting targets though. He's gotten 7 targets in each of the first 2 games.
100%. And in week 1 he had a 33-yard touchdown. Week 2 he had a 60-yard touchdown. So like you're gonna give this guy high upside targets, and
yeah, he's averaging like 10 yards a catch.
100%. And he's only gonna see Surtain like half the time. I don't mind that.
Yeah, like I don't think Surtain shadows any of their receivers in this game.
Oh, he does. He does, but it's
No. I mean in this game, like I don't think there's a receiver on the Chargers where it's like this is the guy I have to like shut down for this game. Like,
yeah, I agree. I could see Peyton after like a quarter being like, this guy's killing us. Like, go handle
like,
that.
Get on him. Yeah.
But I totally agree. Oh wow,
yeah.
Tua just threw a 50-yard pass and almost completed it. Holy shit! Wow. Okay, I didn't know he still had that in him.
We
Good for
doing
him.
wows for like missed bombs now? Good God, that's the state we're in Miami. Jesus.
Yeah, it is. It is. I've never seen an older looking 28-year-old kid in my
Yo.
life, dude.
R.I.P. Pablo.
R.I.P. It's rough out here for him. When we keep going down this list though, too, like DK Metcalf, sure, but maybe one day he
I mean,
pops.
there's a lot of guys down here you can consider, and I'm not gonna like necessarily argue with you. Like if you
Yeah,
want to play Jerry Judy, I'm not mad at it. Olave is getting the targets, just hasn't really hasn't had the upside game, but volume is there. Um, a little bit
Devontae
like
Smith.
Michael Pittman, I'm going back to again because he's under 5K, and I still think that's stupid.
That's very stupid. That's incredibly stupid. 5 to 8 targets a
Uh,
game, and they like him down by the red zone.
yeah,
I
like
I don't
that's
blame you.
just silly to me.
Calvin
Keenan
Ridley's
Allen
cheap.
under
Oh, Keenan
5K
Allen.
is nuts.
That
It's
too. That too.
like, yeah, I just
Even
don't understand.
even if they didn't wait for the Monday night update, the guy had 10 targets against Kansas City and
Right.
had a touchdown and 7 for 68. Yeah, he's too cheap. I agree. Calvin Ridley at 5,100, not obviously great if you want to back a rookie quarterback against this spot against a defense that's looked good, but I think he's cheap for his role. Christian Kirk, I don't know if he's going to play. We'll see. Rashid Shaheed, actually, man, I got to tell you, I don't think Spencer Rattler's like a starting NFL quarterback in the league,
It's not.
but do I think he's like not one of the better backups in football? Probably not. He's looked serviceable. They found him in the end zone too, Shaheed. So you like to see that. And the other guy that I know you wanted to talk about, and actually I looked up his workload. You were right on the money. Troy Franklin. Yep, 6 targets week 1, had and got beefed up a ton in week 2. He had 9 targets in week 2, and now he gets a really good game environment against the Chargers at 4K. We have him projected for 3x his salary right now at 4K.
Listen, I'm telling you, man. There's I'm with it. There's two other cheap guys that I have my eye on. But it's pending injury news. Uh, Egbuka for Tampa Bay popped up on the injury report late. Uh, Monitoring that. If he can't go, Sterling Shepard, you just plug him in. And then if Jawan Jennings misses this game for San Francisco, uh, the easy answer is to just play Ricky. But I actually think the play there, if he misses, is Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, I agree. And especially too, I know this is not a huge thing that we always consider, but if Purdy doesn't play, they said he's a game time decision. I think he's probably going to play, but if he doesn't, him and Mac Jones have some rapport from their time together in New England. They know each other really well. Apparently, they're
Mm-hmm.
like really, really good friends too. Like they're in the off
Yeah.
season, they train together. So something to consider. But I think that's a great call. I 100% agree. I think that's a great call. No, yeah, at wide receiver, I think there's a lot of guys you could just take shots on because they haven't paid off yet this year, but they're
Yep.
probably going to. So, love that. Any other thoughts on wide receiver before we go to tight ends?
Nah.
All right. So tight end, I'm of the opinion that like I'm just not going to pay up for a tight end, and unless they're in my stack. But like just even this week, like Trey McBride, like tougher spot against San Francisco. Jawan Johnson had a good game against them, but like at 5,700, if he goes for like 13 to 15, does he really kill you?
No.
No. Brock Bowers, clearly was hurt last game, and we'll see how he looks. Tucker Kraft popped up on the injury report like 2 hours before we got on the show today. Apparently, he tweaked something in his knee, like during
Oh boy.
practice. They said he's probably going to be okay, but he's day to day. You have Tyler Warren, 4,400, who I love him. He's a motherfucker, but like that price tag, is on the
I don't.
like if he's like
I don't
100 or
mind the
200
price.
more expensive, I probably can't click him. He's like very
I don't
close.
mind his price tag where he is, only because if I play, especially if I'm playing, because I'm probably playing him in a stack. Like he's still cheap enough with pairing with his quarterback that I don't really care. Like 13 to 14 from him at his price, I'm good with.
Yeah, that's fair. I would agree with that. I would agree. It's Jawan Johnson. Keep playing this guy.
Just
He's
play him every week. Yes.
he's been legitimately good too. They love him in the red zone. He's getting a lot of work. And also too, I don't know if people paid attention because I don't know how many savages are watching a San Francisco versus New Orleans game last week with a 42 game total, like I was. But Jawan Johnson dropped like 3 balls too, where he could have had a much, much bigger day.
Yeah.
Rattler put it right on the numbers and he just dropped a few. So interesting to say the least. And yeah, as we keep going, Ferguson, no issue with in this game against Chicago. Pitts has been getting a lot more work than usual. I just worry about the pass volume in total. Harold Fannin, no issue with him either. I think he's getting enough work. I also don't mind Njoku too. I think you could still play Njoku. They're borderline the same price, so it's not. Well, they're 500 different, so not that crazy. But I don't mind him. Jonnu Smith, sure, if you want to. Brenton Strange, I think he's going to pop one of these weeks. The amount of routes that guy's running is absurd.
Yep. There's a lot of solid cheap tight ends you can play.
Sanders too in Carolina. He dropped a touchdown pass. He was 6 for 9 with like 70 yards last week, and he dropped a touchdown. So it's even that. Yeah,
he was a monster in college too.
Dude, he just hasn't had a quarterback. And I'm not saying that to say that like Bryce Young is not an NFL quarterback. The jury's out on that. But he's had inconsistent quarterback play since he's gotten the league, right? And when you're a tight end, like you're at the mercy of who throws you the ball. He's been very good though. You know, Chig is fine. Dalton Schultz, he's the last tight end standing right now in Houston with Harrison Bryant on the IR.
Yo.
And AJ Barner
fire right now.
And AJ Barner found Paydirt last week. No pun intended. But
see what you did there.
Yeah, see what I did. I'll be here all week.
I'm not doing that with AJ Barner. Like he had 3 targets and one of them just happened to be a touchdown.
I'm going to tell you this though, Tribe. When I was running the portfolio manager, I tried to just like build with the portfolio manager last week for the first time. Usually I'll build like a few thousand lineups in the Salver and then like bring them over. I think I may do that again going forward just because there's some like I don't want to have to like tweak like AJ Brown, Saquon, and Devontae Smith in the same lineup. Like I just don't really want to deal with stuff like that. But I was getting a lot of Barner. Like I had to like really curtail it. I was getting like 8 to 12% on every single run I had of AJ Barner. So I don't know. I don't know what James is smoking, but maybe we got to take a hit. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. But all right, let's go to the contest sims. I ran these already. Let's go take a look. At the quarterback spot, no surprise, Daniel Jones, the most exposed quarterback. Love the spot for him. I think you and I are going to have plenty of him this week. And it's almost at the point where like, even if he's like 15, 20% owned, I'm probably just going to match it. Like I just think the fact that he's used so much in the red zone, like his floor is crazy at 5,400. Drake May, love that. Herbert, love that too. Trevor Lawrence, interesting. We didn't talk about him versus Houston, and maybe Caleb Williams coming in at a negative edge, but that makes sense why he's getting some exposure because that's such a high profile scoring game. Yep. Lowest edge is Jaden Daniels. I don't think that ownership's right, so we'll get that fixed.
Well, yeah.
Caleb Williams, Baker. There's not really any like weak quarterback plays this week. It seems like there's not.
You can make an argument for a lot of those guys. Yeah,
you can, and I'm curious to see what it looks like when we go to wide receiver because I feel the same way about that. Running back exposure. These are small field too. If you're playing small field, also like Jordan Mason's probably just really good chalk to eat. Like anything like 400, 500 people and under size contest. I think that makes sense.
You play Jordan Mason and Christian McCaffrey and move on.
I agree. I don't think you pivot off of any of these guys. Bucky Irving showing there too. And then outside of that, it's like very not like minimal edges on people. And the worst edge is Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, and Saquon. That makes sense probably because it feels that they're a little overpriced compared to the counterparts in that same same salary region. Sorry, I just saw Tua like dance in the pocket, and he actually just like made a guy miss, and I was like, "Whoa, he had that in the bag." I was like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But I digress. Saquon here, Jalen Warren. I don't like seeing that. I was going to play some Jalen Warren, but you know, is what it is. Garrett Wilson. Yeah, we're gonna have to get some updates here because I don't think if Fields plays, I kind of get this against Tampa Bay, but if he doesn't, I'm not into it. Puka, I'll play Puka every week. JSN, play him every week. And your boy Troy Franklin. Look at that.
Look,
Yeah. You were first to that, man. You were first to the party. It's that's crazy. That's really crazy. Roma Dunze, Drake London, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, and Keenan Allen. Worst plays at wide receiver in small field. Best plays Wilson, Puka, Franklin, JSN. At tight end, big stand on Tyler Warren here. Tucker Kraft if he plays. Juwan Johnson, Dallas Goedert. I don't know if Goddard's going to be back this
I don't know
week.
if he's going to play. Yeah.
Everything I'm seeing is that limited practice participants. So maybe.
Okay,
and then
might be back.
It's like small edges on everybody else. Only big negative edges, Trey McBride and Brock Bowers. So I am happy about that.
Which is really just telling you should not be paying up at tight end this week.
100%. And I
get if you're a sicko like me and you're going to play a Geno stack, you'll have Brock Bowers, but
I don't know. I heard real men play Geno Smith, Trey Tucker, and Jacoby Myers last time I checked.
Yeah, I'm trying to win money, bro.
Yeah, I hear you with that. If you want to put in the corpse of Brock Bowers, you can be my guest. Then, but no,
yeah. If he's like, I'm out if he's like legitimately hurt.
Oh no, yeah, but yeah, you got to consider him though if you're stacking Geno. And in the flex right now, it's saying to either go 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver, and we also have some running backs. Also, your flex spot, the worst edge is Jordan Mason, but that's probably because you're playing him at one of the first running back spots.
I will say from the contest analyzer and looking at top 1% of lineups the past 2 weeks in the middle, like you really should just be playing a pass catcher in the flex. Like they just give you the best upside there.
Yeah, and it's funny because the last few years it's been 3 running backs for like the first 8-9 weeks of the year, and now we're starting to see that these pass catchers, there's a lot more offense being scored than people really, a lot more points being scored than people really expected. But all right, well, that was a breakdown of everything. What do you want to leave the people with for week 3 on the main slate?
I think just be willing to take some stands. Don't feel you need to play everybody. There's a few spots I like this week where, just take a stand on it and then really get different with your stacks. I think it's okay to eat some of the chalk, particularly if you think it's good chalk. If you want to eat Jordan Mason chalk, if you want to eat CeeDee Lamb, like that's fine. Like just pair it with a stack that's going to be super low owned. We've seen this, over the first 2 weeks of the season, right? You kind of get this core group of chalky guys. You hope they go off. You hope they keep you even, with the field in your contest. And then that low owned stack comes in and boom, takes you to the top. If you played giant stacks last week, congrats on the money, but you're almost guaranteed like a 1% finished. Like based on what they did, assuming you built correctly and that you paired that super low ownership with some chalk pieces. So yeah,
I think it's a really, really good message. I agree, and the only thing I was going to really add is like follow where the value is taking you this week. If you think that I could be wrong here, I could have a week where there's just completely throws me for a loop, but I'm seeing like a lot of different pivots at similar price points win tournaments. Like we're not really seeing the wholesale of pay, everybody's paying up a wide receiver, so I'm going to pay down. Like, no, they're just picking a different high dollar wide receiver. Like we were talking about it with our guy Bots in the Discord. He's like three lineups. I'm fading McCaffrey, and I'm like, why? Like explain to me why. And he ended up being on the Millionaire Maker winner. Like there's just when the value's that strong, just take it. And if you could find a viable
McCaffrey was
pivot,
on like
do it.
80%. McCaffrey was like an 80% of the lineups in the top 1% of the millie. Like
He
there
was
was
just too
just
cheap.
zero. Yeah, there was zero readers in that. But that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like if you know you're gonna eat this chalk, right? You have to play it and balance it with low ownership.
Yeah, 100%. And it's I just don't think we need to go looking for value and creating value that's not there. Let's just take what's there. And if we can find a pivot, great. If not, take the value.
Yeah.
But everybody, this has been week 3 of the bakery. Come check us out in the Discord. If you haven't yet, come get a subscription over at Paydirt DFS, whether you want to join for a day, a week, a month, the rest of the NFL season. Come check us out. We have a great community, and we wish you all best of luck. Let's go collect some trophies this weekend.
Peace.
Peace.